Hello, friends. The title of our book today is Corduroy. The author is Don Freeman. He is the person who wrote the story. Don Freeman is also the illustrator. That means he made the pictures in the book. This story is about a stuffed teddy bear named Corduroy and some of the things that happened to him. In this story, there's a girl named Lisa and her mom, and we will see them when we read the story. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in a toy department of a big store. Day after day he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. Do you guys see Corduroy and all of his friends waiting for someone to take them home? I do, he's right here. The store was always filled with shoppers, buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Do you guys see Corduroy? Do you guys know what overalls are? Overalls are kind of clothes that people wear. They have shoulder straps to keep them on. You may have worn overalls. One morning, a girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said. "Look, there's a very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much money already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost the button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost the button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Do you guys see the button anywhere? I don't think so yet. I do see Corduroy looking for it, though, and he's next to an escalator. Do you guys know what an escalator is? Maybe you've been on one. An escalator is a set of stairs that move. People move on them to go up and down from floor to floor. The escalator is yellow in this picture. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he stepped onto an escalator and he went up. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was the most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." Do you guys see the many beds in this room? Oh, and there's so many lamps. Do you guys know what a palace is? A palace is a very big and very fancy home where some kings and queens live. This isn't a real palace, but Corduroy thinks it's a palace because there's so many fancy beds and chairs and lamps. But he really is still in the same department store. He wandered around, admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And he crawled up onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he cried. And he tried to pick it up, but like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down. How many buttons do you guys see on the mattress? Can we count? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The seventh one is the one that Corduroy is holding. He yanked and pulled with both his paws until pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Oh, do you guys think Corduroy is okay? I think he's going to be fine. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. Somebody must have been hiding around here. Do you guys see the watchman's flashlight? People use flashlights to help them see when they're going into a dark space. He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" Do you think Corduroy is going to get in trouble? I hope not. I hope the night watchman is a nice person. The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator and set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Corduroy was waking up when the first customer came into the store in the morning, and there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same girl he'd seen only days before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." Oh, I bet Corduroy is so excited to go home with Lisa. He still doesn't have a button, though. Do you guys notice that? But Lisa doesn't seem to care. Lisa only cares about Corduroy. "Shall I put him in my box for you?" the saleslady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up the 4 flights of stairs into her family apartment, straight to her own room. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed, just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like the enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know I've always wanted a home." I'm so glad Corduroy found a home. Do you guys see the small bed next to Lisa's bed? It's just the same size as Corduroy. I think he's very happy. Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your soldier straps fastened." "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and she gave him a big hug. I think they were both very happy with meeting each other. Do you guys have a very close friend of yours that you're so happy that is in your life? Tell me about them. Where did you meet? How did you meet? What do you think Lisa and Corduroy did after she sewed his button back on? Do you think he was really happy and excited? I think he was. Thanks for reading with me. I hope you enjoyed this story. Come back next week for our next story time.